Hello everyone, welcome back to Andromeda 6. Last time we did a bunch of lore stuff. We figured out that we're the heir to the throne of Goldis, the taken over kingdom or whatever by, I forgot his name, like Zarkon or something. It's not Zarkon, probably. I think Zarkon is from Voltron. Anyways. Hello? Oh my god. You guys know it's gotta be time for me to get all my cords stuck around my feet. Anyways, so made it back on the ship after telling everybody everything, because that's what we did. Got betrayed by our boyfriend. Past and present, unfortunately. And now we're about to talk to, I think, Aya about her past. Maybe. Is that what's happening? Yeah. Okay. Learning about her past, because she needs to she hung out with, Cauldron. I think that's his name. I'm listening. I want to hear it. I lean back against the wall, still sitting on my bed, as I ready myself to listen to her story. I was born on Catalfa. It wasn't easy in its best state by then already, with all the chaos caused by most of their recent experiments, but it was home. I'll admit I'm not very well versed on political nuances of how Catalfans tried to escape the impending doom of our home, but I know the others were dicks about it. The Talari all but kicked us out of their doorstep. Talari is us, right? Talari is like the yeah, anyways. Well, we were never really close, so I don't know what they thought was going on. I wasn't even 10 years old at the time, and I hardly know anyone who talks about that now. Aya pauses, her throat bopping up and down as she closes her eyes for a moment. I don't interrupt her, respecting her pace at telling me her story. It's like, I lost my home, but Goldis is still there. Catalfa, on the other hand. King Furnace. Furnace? Fenris. Furnace. Sorry. Though. And not trying to be disrespectful, but already being. He was a fucking son of a bitch. Dang, got him. Get him. Get him! When Aya speaks again, it's with eyes burning with anger and frustration. Venom in her voice when she says my father's name. Oh, that's our dad? That's crazy. Do you know what he said when my people asked for shelter? That we could work for it, which is fair, only in the mines. The same shithole they threw criminals and whoever else they didn't like in. The same place that led our home to ruin. If it wasn't for that stupid place, they never would have uncovered that stupid substance. Oh, right. And we would have never decided to experiment with it, to try and weaponize it. I get it, okay? We too were to blame for our doom. If we hadn't been too greedy to the point of wanting to mess with shit like that, we never would have fucked things up and made our planet, and messed with our planet's core. Yo, this is some She-Ra shit. I'm not telling you anymore if you don't know anything about that, sorry. Watch She-Ra, it's good. But it doesn't matter now. Catalfa's gone. It was supposed to be about me, I guess. I shouldn't have started calling your father names. I didn't know him like you did or something. It's okay. Apparently we didn't know him either. We got, apparently he had it coming. We agree that he was an awful person, so I'm going to say he had it coming. My father and I were never close. His aides probably saw him more than I did. And seeing what his actions caused other people to suffer. A whole species. Innocent people. This crew. It makes me sick to think I'm related to that man. Period. He had it coming. You don't really mean that, do you? I mean, I don't know. If you're, like, torturing and, like, hurting people, I'm not opposed to you meeting a swift end. You know what I mean? Like, if you're, like, calling for the death and imprisonment and enslavement of people, I'm not gonna be, like, too pressed when you're dead. You know what I'm saying? And sure, he might be my dad, but he can still be estranged or whatever. I don't know. I hate everything I've heard about him. I hate that he was an absent father, but can I truly condone murder? It's not that I condone murder. It's just that I'm not mad that he's dead. I don't know. Karma's a bitch, you know? You're gonna kill and hurt people. I don't know why you're expecting that to not come back to you. It's less of like a, yeah, get him, and more like a, I don't know what he expected. Like, get fucked, nerd. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's okay. We don't need another bloodthirsty member in this crew. We'll leave that to us experienced bros. Thank you, though. I appreciate the feeling. Aya gives me an honest smile, reaching out to squeeze my knee once before sitting back up and carrying on with her story. Well, anyway, all the young Catalphans were shipped off in pods for the surrounding planets, despite having a lack of open doors for us. We've always been adaptable. We weren't about to roll over and die. My parents, they stayed behind with all the adults and elders, but they put me in a pod with my little brother and directed it to Goldus, because they thought that we'd have a better chance of making it there. You have a brother? It's only after those words leave my mouth, her face twists into a sad frown, that I realize how stupid my question was. Had. I'm sorry. Aya shrugs it off, and I don't insist. She'll talk about it when she's ready, and I must respect that. He was little when this happened, so he didn't really understand what happened when we made it to Goldus. But we were alone in some back alley from the Bronze District, and there was no one else to look out for us. I had to take that on myself, taking care of me, my little brother, making sure that we had food to eat, shelter to sleep. We couldn't just waltz into a foster home, and nobody would even spare us a glance in the streets. People in the prawns were poor, jobs were scarce, and you gotta do what you have to. Wait, you gotta make do with what you have. I ended up doing what most street kids did, stealing food, clothes, toys, money, books. I'd try to get anything I could for my little brother. Bruh, why is she always playing with that toy when I'm trying to record? You hear that? And I know you do. He was growing, you know? I guess so was I, but I didn't want him to lose out on anything. I'd teach him how to read, write, math. I tried to give him a chance to be someone, while depriving myself of all of it. I had no home anymore. He was my home. But the only thing that kept me going... he was the only thing that kept me going, but maybe I never really thought about how he felt. You see, I tried to make him into the perfect boy, so he could grow to become the perfect man. I never taught him the ways of the streets, despite both of us living on it for many, many years. Her voice wavers and my chest tightens. Somehow I get the feeling I know how this story's gonna end. Aya continues to speak, her voice lower, her fingers drawing random patterns on my bed covers. He was growing up, and you know boys, they're curious, naive. I didn't see it. He kept it from me. Or maybe I just refused to see it, even when it was right in front of me. Who knows? But he started doing drugs. He made some friends, started hanging out with some other kids, and I might have sheltered him too much. He would try anything they could get their hands on. They were just misguided kids in the end, you know? One day, I came back to their hideout, and he was dead. Her expression is a mix of sorrow and rage, and there are truly no words to be said that would matter in this situation. Losing a loved one is horrible. Losing your only family after losing your parents and giving up your own life for his happiness. I don't know what I would have done if I were in her place. I'm scared to know what she did. I was so angry at him. At his friends. At me. I left. I ran. I couldn't stand saying goodbye to all I had left for my family. I couldn't stand admitting that it was my own damn fault he was gone. So I did something stupid. Like every other grieving person out there. A broken laugh, a sad smile. I wanted nothing more than to reach out to her, but something keeps me in place, so all I do is watch. I went after those kids. I didn't know them, nor did I care to. I wanted to blame someone, a life for a life, and I couldn't think of anyone else to blame. I never got the chance to exact my revenge, though. One of the kids was the child of a guard member. They were on my ass in a second, beating me up for raising my filthy Catalphan hands at his precious drug dealer fucking kid. Next thing I know, I'm getting thrown into a cell, all bruised and starving. A couple of days go by and I'm already accepting my impending death, you know? It's not something you fear when you grow up in the streets. It's just something inevitable. But instead, this army dude comes along and says that instead of being shipped off to the mines, they're giving us a chance to enlist. I assume they needed some grunt work or some twisted form of charity they did. Regardless, I took the deal. Why would I ever give them the pleasure of shipping an illegal Catalphan refugee to the stupid mines when I could make them give me food and shelter and a paycheck? Besides, I didn't really have anything else to do. As if it was practiced, I bounced off her sad aura until just a moment ago, moving on like it was nothing. For some reason, I don't trust the easy smile on her face. It worries me, in fact. Just how often does Aya have to act like everything is fine on the surface? Bro probably does that all the time. It's giving coping mechanism. All those years fending for her brother, suppressing her own feelings, that's not something that just fades away. It was easy enough, the Cadet Academy. I wasn't the best in academics, but man, did I kick ass at piloting classes or what. Once I graduated, they shipped me off to the Bronze District, and I ended up in dear old Captain's Squad. I'm changing that accent like crazy. I know what I'm trying to pin it towards. I'm not going to say it because you're going to tell me I'm wrong, and I know I am, and that's okay, because I have not ever studied this accent. Mama, keep trying. I might have made him suffer a bit with my antics, but I respected the man. He was a decent guy, so I chose to be in Bronze because he wanted to help others and all that. So I had his back. Even if he was most likely to end up losing some life years when I got him to go out with me on a joyride. But isn't that against the law? That's half the fun! It's easy to imagine the captain's reaction whenever he found himself stuck with Aya in a situation like that. It's even easier to imagine Aya's reaction to that. As for me, I'm just glad they're alive after that. His stuck-up and irresponsible behavior even rubbed off on me, because when they fucked him over, I was able to control my urge for revenge and managed to help him out. And here we are today. Oh, it is Zovac! Yo, I'm crazy! Ayy! Let's go. Zovac never did anything to me directly, but I can never forgive him for going for Cauldron. I guess it's an army thing? I'll stand by my commander for as long as I'm alive. Her face might have still had that youthful smile on, but her eyes were dead serious when she talked about how she respects the captain. T. She didn't even seem to realize she called him commander, but unlike Damon, she didn't seem to use that term to mock him. Anyway, enough about me. I just wanted you to know that you're not alone here. We may be a bunch of weird misfits with an arguable set of morals, but we've got each other's back. Thanks for talking to me. Guys, we might come back and do the other people. Like, I might, like, flip through and, like, just pick their stuff and then we'll just see what happens. But for the most part, we're sticking with my man. Thank you, Aya. Don't mention it. I'd like to think you'd do the same for me. Aya reaches out and takes hold of my hand again, a sweet smile on her lips. I'm ridiculously glad, despite last night, despite who I am. Aya still had been kind enough to come here before getting started on her day just to check on me. I don't reply, but I squeeze her hand gently, and her smile broadens even more. Words sometimes take away from what you're truly feeling. I can only hope she understands how much this meant to me, that I would absolutely do the same for her if she ever needs me to. Sorry you had to take time off your day for this. Nah, it's all good. I'm pretty early anyway. Pretty sure I'll give Colden a stroke or something if he sees me walking on the bridge at this ungodly hour. If I went any earlier, he'd probably drop dead. And I don't really want to be haunted by his nagging ghost for the rest of my life, you know? She glares at the sunlight streaming through the window next to us, and I wonder what she even considers an acceptable hour to wake up. It wouldn't surprise me if it was somewhere around noon. Better go now, though. I can already feel this will be one hell of a day. Aya stands up from my bed, quickly making her way to the door. Looking forward to our next one-on-one time, Kay. Bye! Throwing me a final wink, she leaves my room, her footsteps echoing on the corridor just outside. I feel lighter after talking with her, and determined. Stifling a yawn, I get up and head outside as well. Let's go! After speaking with Aya, I find myself wondering what the rest of the crew thinks about all this. Memories of Vex linger in the back of my mind, and I don't know how to feel about it. About him. About how different he was when we met. His warning about leaving the crew bothers me. Was he serious? Should I truly consider it? But where would I go? What should I do? My thoughts were interrupted when I turned the corner to find someone leaning against the opposite wall. Someone I'm not sure I want to see, given the last time we spoke. Oh, I'm gonna give him hell. Oh, I'm gonna give him hell. My room, bitch. Sorry, I read the line. And I was like, idiot. Look what the cat dragged in. Was starting to wonder where he disappeared to. My room. Fucking moron. The same place I've always been. Idiot. Where else would I be? Like, what do you mean? Stupid ass. Statement. Whatever. Damon pushes himself away from the wall and steps towards me, shoving his hands into the pockets of his coat. I make no attempt to hide my sigh, bracing myself for what's about to come. I'm sure you were worried sick. Are you here to kidnap me and turn me in all on your own? Sadly, no. Perhaps some other time if we get the chance. So, why are you here, waiting to ambush me? I watch his smirk grow wider, and I know I've hit the mark. He was waiting for me, but why? I was bored. His eyes glimmer with interest, and I know his excuse couldn't be further from the truth. After last night, I'm not in the mood to be his entertainment. Though I'd hate to admit it to him directly, it stung a little that he was so willing to get rid of me when I told him who I really am. I must have been fooling myself thinking I could grow closer to someone like him. Damon's a mystery wrapped up in a pretty package, and I'm not sure anyone has ever fully figured him out. It's gonna be us, guys. It's gonna be us. We're gonna figure him out. Trust, my faith and loyalty in this man has not yet wavered. I understand why he did what he did. I steel myself against him and his penetrating sapphire eyes, perhaps trying to convince the both of us that he doesn't unnerve me as much as he does. Despite it all, something inside me, no matter how small, has to admire him for staying true to himself. I'm not a fool, and I understand how my presence affects this crew. I see the logic in it when he says he wants to turn me in. Though, it doesn't make me want to punch him in this smug face any less. But that's the thing, right? That I have to think about is, like, I understand the perspective of him being like, ooh, maybe that's an opportunity. But then if you think about it for, like, 2 seconds longer, you're like, that's a dumbass fucking idea. That's an incredibly... I talked about it last time. So, if you didn't see last time, we told the crew that basically Zovak is the guy who like, held a coup over the Kingdom of Goldus. We are the heir to the throne. We're like the last living child of the Goldus airline, whatever. Airline's crazy. And we told everyone on the crew, and he was like, "Let's just sell her out to the guy." And of course, our character's upset, but they're also like, "I can see his logic," and I'm like, "I see his logic," but also. We learned then later when we talked to Cauldron that the whole reason that the whole group has a bounty on their head is because Zevak doesn't like Cauldron. So turning me in, or us in, wouldn't do anything for that bounty, and it would probably just give Zevak more benefits, or whatever. Advantages, that's what I meant to say. So are you going to say something, or are we going to stand here all day just looking at each other? I don't have anything to say to you. Damon laughs at that, a small, humorless sound that grates on my already frayed nerves. No matter. Your eyes say more than your mouth ever could. You're thinking about how good it would feel to rip me apart limb from limb right now, aren't you? That's not what I was thinking, but... Not everyone's Let's give a sassy response. I wouldn't risk getting blood on the floor. I wouldn't risk messing up the ship's clean floor with your blood. Better to get rid of you cleanly. I'm sure a little poison would get the job done well enough. Damon snorts at that, and to my satisfaction, he looks a little taken back by the snark in my voice. Getting blood out of fabric is difficult, I won't lie. Better to burn everything instead. I remember him claiming how he took care of things last night after returning to the ship, stained with blood. I assume this is a different outfit then. The way he talks about blood and killing so casually makes me wonder about the kind of life he's lived. I mean, we've already established it's a bad one, and isn't he like an assassin or some shit? Today, his hands are pristine, skin unblemished, but I have no doubts that his soul are drenched in the blood of countless victims. What, Moida? What, Moida? This is the good question, right? I don't want to say you're despicable, because I'm not actually hating on him that much. I either want to say nothing, or I want to say this. He probably got over it at some point. But I also kind of want to say nothing. What did he say to us? Did he say something to prompt this response? Yeah, better to burn everything instead. Doesn't death bother you? A shiver shakes down my spine, the words leaving my mouth before I can even think them through. Doesn't it bother you? Death? Why would it? Because it's terrible? His lips tilt at the sides and I can see how much he's enjoying himself. At least one of us is. Wouldn't know. Never tried it. I'm serious. So am I. It makes no sense to worry about that. Death is a natural part of life. I don't understand how anyone could be so casual about it. Damon doesn't speak again right away, but something in his eyes turns cold as he sizes me up. I know that to him, my thoughts must sound silly, or naive even. He was born and raised on Cursa, after all, and I have a rough idea about how things work there. You're really serious about that, aren't you? He relaxes his shoulders, pulling his lip between his teeth before he lets out a sigh. You'd think anything was normal if you've been around it all your life. Yeah, get him to open up to us. That's what I want. That's what I want. Yes. Rah! My parents were killed when I was, I don't know, 10 years old or something. They owed a lot of money to this gang, and well, they obviously collected. Though I can safely say, not in the way my parents expected. I don't care. I was better off without them anyway. Parents are supposed to be caring and nurturing, right? Well, not them. I was raising myself before they were even dead in the ground. They didn't bother me, and I didn't bother them. It was a fair exchange. And besides, my parents turned out pretty damn decent if you ask me. But Damon, you were 10. That's not normal. He rolls his eyes at me, waving his hand, as though he would push away my doubts with it. I had this friend, a year older than me. She taught me how to pick pockets, how to hold a knife the right way, how to read people. All about how to survive in Cursa, basically. We were just another couple of poor, skinny kids on the street. My parents being killed was nothing different than what had happened to her, or to any other kid out there. Death didn't make you special. It was a part of our lives from the beginning. It was how you handled it that mattered. I started doing some jobs, making a name for myself on the streets, until finally I joined one of the gangs in Cursa and ditched that shithole, earning myself this pretty little scar. Damon taps the scar on his eyebrow twice, and then raises his eyebrows at me, as though he can already hear the questions ticking away inside my head. Growing up as an orphan isn't something any kid should just have to get used to, and I can't even imagine what it must have been like growing up in such a reality. No family, no safety, no schools. Do the kids on Cursa even get enough to eat? Isn't there anyone to help them? Aren't there guards and a council responsible for handling security? There's so many things I want to ask him, so much I want to know. You were just a child. A child maybe, but I had to learn how to grow up fast. When I say my parents were killed, I don't mean I came home to find their bodies resting peacefully in our living room. I know what you mean, dum-dum. Don't you explain it to me. A shiver runs through me, dread flooding my veins in anticipation for his next words. I mean, I was there, and I should have died as well. Collateral damage, after all. And then how are you still here? Damon laughs, but the sound is cold and bitter. How do you think? Dude, did you kill them? That's crazy. At 10? That's insane. Yikes. Dude, your planet's kind of fucked up. I'm gonna be real. Your planet's kind of... It's kind of scary. I don't want to even consider the possibility. I don't even want to make it real by saying the words out loud, but I do it anyway. You killed him. What did you expect me to do? Lie down and die? I swallow around the lump in my throat, horrified by this admission. A child should never have to be faced with that choice, or lack of choice in that situation. It doesn't justify Damon being an asshole 99% of the time, but at least it explains a few things. You gotta do what you gotta do, and sometimes that means killing a guy. Or two. Yeah, I would say he's right. You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I mean, in that situation, like, what do you want to do? Like, let me try to be eloquent when I say this. When I'm saying, I suppose he's right, I'm saying it from, like, with him and his situation and what he's dealing with, I understand that's, like, the only thing he could do. As a kid. Like, that was 10. Like, when he's faced with the option of kill that guy or die, like, I'm like, yeah, I get why you did that. Makes sense. You know, like, should their world be like that? No, I don't think it should be like that. It should not be like that at all. There should be structure, there should be order, there should be people making sure people are getting basic needs and food and shit like that and keeping people safe, and it's just not happening, and that's just unfortunate. And that's the part that I'm like, that's not how the world should be. But I understand where he's coming from and why he's doing it. I have to admit to myself that it makes sense. It's human nature to protect ourselves, to fight for our own survival. I guess that makes sense in a way. You did what you had to do to survive. Yeah, exactly. Gotta say, I'm surprised you're taking this so well. Don't mistake my reaction for acceptance. Nothing about your situation is normal. Look, I'm not saying it is, but the world ain't a fancy ride for all of us. Sometimes you gotta give up that piece of humanity just to see the next sunrise. We stare at each other for a few good moments. The whirring of the ship's engine, the only sound cutting through the silence. It's a lot to process, and despite my response, I'm still conflicted about it. It's hard to believe that nobody cares about the reality of people in Cursa, in Terrarium. Had it truly been my family who made it acceptable to ignore this kind of suffering? Had it been my father? I need to ask you a question. Alright, but you only get one. Do you hate the Pegasi for what my father did? Why? Do you want to know what I think about Zovak offing them? Yeah. I force myself not to wince at his lack of subtlety, but I can't really fool myself into being surprised about Damon's bluntness anymore. Honestly, I couldn't care less if I tried. Your dad was a dick. Welcome to the club. I'm sure even you can't deny that. I know he's a bad leader, and you're right, we never really were close. But do you think he truly deserved to die? Did my whole family deserve it? Don't we all, I wonder. Don't get me wrong, Zovak's a dick in his own right too. And I know I worked for the guy. I just don't have anything personal against him like others do. I falter at his sudden admission, though it's more about how casual he makes working for Zovak sound, the fact that he did it at all. But he's a monster. He killed my entire family. Yeah, you don't really think Zovak did the grunt work, do you? He might have given the orders, but I'll bet you his hands are spotless. The man's a strategic genius, a master manipulator. Despite the things he's done, he knows having a certain reputation with people is important. It's weird that he worked for him. He's still a murderer, whether he kills with his own hands or not. I agree with you there. Never saw him harm an animal, though, so we got along well enough. I'd have struck him with my blade if he ever laid a finger on any of the street cats that hung around the base. Really? That's where you draw the line? You're damn right it is. I can't stop my eyebrows from raising at him. It both terrifies me and astonishes me how little Damon seems to care about human life. But you put a pet in the mix and he goes feral. What did you do for him anyway? Oh, you know, this and that. Which clearly means murder and any other sort of criminal activity I can imagine. I'll tell you more about it, but you have to promise to stop looking at me like I ran over your damn cat. Stay and listen. No hesitation. None at all. I said, Princess, tell me a story. Fine, I'm listening. I first ran into the guy when I left Cursa and was looking for a job. It's not like I cared who I worked for as long as they paid me. True, that's fair. But then you left his gang? Nah, never really joined it. I was more of a freelancer, if it makes it easier to understand. Sure, he tried to sign me up, but I didn't really appreciate being tied down. And the assignment he wanted for me sounded nothing short of boring. He ended up roping into some other guy, this weird redhead from Golda's. Oh my god. I used to call him Carrot Head. We were pretty friendly for a while, but we lost contact eventually. Oh my god. If you don't understand what they're alluding to, which I'm assuming you do, they're alluding to he tried to get Damon to be what Vex was. He tried to get Damon to be like our bodyguard and to like learn the castle layout through us. That's cray. So that makes my lore in my head even crazier. Yes, now it makes even more sense that my amnesiac fucking mind was like, that one! I like him! Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. A redhead who worked for Zovac. Damon couldn't have possibly known about Vex before all this, could he? Oh, I'm so glad I asked him about his lore. Pushing the thought from my mind, I try to stay focused. There's still a lot I want to know, several questions unanswered, and I'm not sure how much he's willing to let me ask. If you don't like being tied down, how come you're now part of the crew, the A6 crew? Because I want to be. You know, you've passed the one question request a long time ago. You get one more. I've got stuff to do. Pursing my lips, I weed out the most important from my pool of unanswered questions. There's only one more thing I need to know. One thing that's been bothering me since last night. Why did you want to sell me out? Because it's the obvious choice to make. He sighs and runs his hand through his hair before he looks at me, his eyes narrowed. If you're hoping for an apology, stop. Having you around's been fun and all, but at the end of the day, we are the ones who have a big-ass bounty on our heads, and I don't like having to work even harder than usual to keep these idiots alive. Or you, for that matter. Shipping your ass off to Zovac would be the easiest way out of this mess, but somehow Cal's grudge against the guy is even bigger than logic, so I'm telling you, your logic does not fucking follow. Like, I hear you. If it was literally just a bounty, period, I would totally get it. It's not a bounty. It's a bounty based off of a grudge, which means that giving any type of money, incentive, would not work. He's a smart man, but, like, this is dumb as fuck. Like, I don't know how to tell you, like, that would not work. God may be an idiot sometimes, but I like the guy. Not to mention I owe him. Owe him for what? Ooh, we're gonna flirt with him. Do you like how my hesitation's non-existent with this man? Fuck yeah. Ooh. How should we flirt? Should we say this one? I feel like he'd like that one. But he also like this one. Because I want to be real with him. Like, I feel like specifically with this character type, the very obvious thing you could do is, like, flirt really basic, like, surface level and be like, you'd miss me if you sold me out. And he'd say some other coy thing, blah, blah, blah. Let's just prove my point. I said something, what'd I say? I said, you'd miss me if you sold me out. He said, I'm well aware that Damon hasn't given up on turning me in out of the kindness of his heart, but I also get the feeling that he kind of likes having me around. Well, you should be glad the rest of the team didn't sell me out. Damon quirks an eyebrow, watching me like a hawk as I step closer to him. You'd miss me terribly if I wasn't around anymore. Admit it. His face shifts into that crooked grin that has me questioning everything about the way I feel about him. And when I find him crowding me against a wall, fuck! Stop! Maybe we will pick this one. I lied. I'm not gonna do that. One hand swayed against the panel beside my head. It's impossible to keep my cool. The sentiment floods my nostrils, clean cotton with a hint of mint sending my head spinning as his deep eyes pin me in place. There hasn't been a lot to miss, though, has there? Jackass! Other than this game of cat and mouse you seem to enjoy playing, Kay. All you've given me so far are words. And you already know I don't appreciate being tied down. Slender, cold fingers trail up my neck. Oh, he's crazy. Stopping under my chin and tilting my head up as Damon leans in. I'd rather be the one tying the knots, if you know what I mean. I don't know what you mean? Like noose? Like, what are you talking about? His eyes are fixed on mine. The look he's giving me is strangely serious, almost as if he wants to see how far I'm willing to let him push me. My heartbeat thrums in my ears, keeping me grounded. Damon is right. I like this game we play. I start it most of the time. I do start it most of the time. Anyways, that was my point. My point is that, like, it's pretty, like, surface level shit. They're doing some other bantering thing, but I don't want to do that. I want to do this one. Which was, I don't want to be a burden. I want to prove that I'm useful or some shit like that. It's difficult to acknowledge that I'm nothing but an extra baggage for the crew. Even more so for Damon, since I decided to start working for him instead of Cauldron. I get it. But it doesn't matter. I won't be just another idiot you need to work extra hard to protect. I'll prove I'm useful. Damon's lips quiver for a moment before he snorts out a laugh he's been trying to smother. Oh, will you? His laughter soon fades and his lips quirk to the side as he takes a step closer, cocking his head as he sizes me up. And how exactly do you plan on doing that? A job? He's close enough now that I feel his breath brushing my face, the sheer intensity of his gaze enough to send my thoughts haywire. What kind of job are we talking about? Not that one. You better quit. I start to speak, but the sound of my voice dies before I can make myself heard. The realization of what he means dawning on me. I'm not doing that. A furious heat flushes my skin, and I know Damon has noticed. I'd waltzed right into that one, hadn't I? With a low chuckle, he winks at me. Ah, let's go! I'm not fucking doing that, but yeah, he's still hot. Bork! I think that man's hot. Anyways, with a low chuckle, he winks at me and steps back, giving me air. It's insufferable how easily Damon managed to melt me, and yet I'd be lying if I said I don't like it. Damon might not be the kindest of the crew, quite the opposite in fact, but in a strange way, talking things through with him has made me feel a little bit better. Yeah, I like this one better, because it feels like we're actually, like, talking, you know what I mean? And I feel like Damon doesn't get, because he's so closed off to people, he doesn't get a lot of that, like, it's something I love, like having a character that's really closed off and then like a character that's just honest as fuck all the time. Where they're like telling lies and shit and they're like, I know you're lying to me, dumbass. Just be honest. But, hello? It's so cutie pie to me. If that was his intention or if he'd only been curious, I don't think I'll ever find out. But I'm glad for it at least. Someday your brain will burn out if you keep overthinking everything like that. Try not to destroy anything while I'm gone, Your Highness. Yeah, let's go, Your Highness! I know that's like actually what I am, but it's kind of hot. What? It's like when Silas says shit like that. Yeah, I guess who's been playing Love in Deep Space? Me. I haven't even met Silas yet, bros. I'm so sad about it. I'm literally like on chapter like 4 or some shit. And I'm like, number one, I'm like, how the frack, sneaky snack, am I gonna be talking to Caleb? If you know, you know. Okay. I'm not saying any more than that. But I'm like, how am I supposed to talk to Caleb? That's literally nonsense. And then, anyways, different vibe for a different thing. He grins at me before he turns to leave, but something has me stopping him one last time. Hey, Damon, just one more thing. What now? Did you know who I was? Nah, but it makes sense a sheltered little thing like you would be a Pegasi. Funny how even when I'm joking, I turn out to be right. It's a struggle to keep myself from rolling my eyes again, but I tried to hold the most regal expression I can muster, however well that turns out. I could have your head for mocking me. You'd have to catch me first. And I'm your boss around here, so don't make me put you on eternal cleaning duty or anything like that. Oh, just... What are you making me do anyway? He shrugs, making a face as if he didn't even bother to give it any thought yet. I don't know. I'll let you know once I need you to do something. Until then, just stay out of trouble, as that's already pretty hard for you. Jerk! He doesn't reply, clicking his tongue as he walks away, in a typical Damon fashion. Oh, I like that so much better. I like that so much better. It felt like we were on, I don't know if you've noticed with, like, dating sims, but, like, if you go, like, super flirty, super hardcore, a lot of the time, like, you get a route where, like, either it's just, like, purely, like, sexual tension or whatever, or they will, like, get murdery on you, which is weird. And that was the vibe I was getting. I was like, I don't need him killing us. That would just make me really sad. I head in the opposite direction, trying to find something to do to keep my mind from being engulfed by unwanted thoughts. After a few turns, I find myself standing in front of the door down to the docks. A smile tugs at my lips when I hear the voice I'm familiar with coming from behind it. Bash is always welcome company, and I hope, praying to every force in the universe, that nothing will change since last night. When I find the engineer down in the docks, he's giving orders to a couple of strange beings who are working on repairing the ruined supply room. Hey. I wait for him to finish, and he notices me hanging around the bottom of the stairs, awkwardly. He gestures for me to go over him. Hey. Oh, for some reason I forgot who Oppo was. I got it. Oppo's Junkers. He explains as I approach and wave at the pair, who are bickering between themselves in some unknown language as they work. When he whispers the next part, I lean closer to hear him better. As a dumb pair of old boots, but they're handy in a cinch. He smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes, and I find myself wondering what's really going on through his head. Bash, about last night. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I stop with a start, not having expected that response, a response that was quite so dismissive. No, I want to. I want you to know that Royalty or not, I'm still the same old me. He grins, and this time I can tell it's genuine. Relief floods through me at the sight, happy to see that some things still haven't changed. I'm glad to hear it, Kay. Bash cleans his hands on an old rag, smearing the fabric with oil before setting it down again. Once this hole's fixed, we'll be able to get out of here. Should only take a few more hours at most. He throws a throws a thumb behind him, like a thumbs up. He throws a thumb behind him. It goes crazy. And I take a closer look at the progress through the open door. Oh, to the supply room. Oh, I get it. I understand what throwing a thumb behind him means. Where will we go? Bash crosses his arms over his chest, crinkling his nose as he thinks about it. That's what we still need to decide. We'll need a place to truly lay low since Terrarium ended up being a bust. Perhaps one of the way stations between planets? There's a few that are run by retired mercs. It's a good place to get info and pick up jobs. Nice. All I know is with Zovak's guys on our trail, the sooner we leave, the better. He hesitates as if there's more he wants to say, but doesn't know how. Zovak and the McCary clan. They've really done a number on all of us. I told him when we first met that when you had a story worth telling, I'd tell you about this. When you had a tea. He holds up his metal arm, a grim expression on his face, and I take a closer look at the wires and metal plates that complete the piece. It seems you more than earned it. Oh yeah, you did give me a word. Let's just hear about everyone's stories. I want to hear what everyone has to say. It gives you a chance to get closer with all of them, I think, and, gives me an idea about them all. But, blah, blah, blah. I think it's probably like if you don't want to hear anything, if you're going for one person in particular, or if you just hate someone off the bat, Someone probably hates Damon. It's not me. Trust, it's not me. Well, you did give me your word after all. Bash grins, but the humor fades away swiftly when his next words leave his mouth. I used to fight in the arenas on Terrarium. Terranium. When I was growing up. In the smaller ones, they use real fighters. Humans mostly. A few kits and Archnos here and there. The higher tiered arenas are where the rich spend all their money, building mechas to fight to the death. They're a sight to behold, truly, but the others, well, they're a means to an end. I was good at fighting, really good. I spent every waking moment training myself to be better, addicted to the blood, sweat, and the fame of the arenas. I made a name for myself. I was unbeatable, until the day I got so beat down that I almost never recovered. The McCary. I'm sure you've heard all about them by now. I swallowed, my voice rough when I speak next. It seems they're responsible for most of what happened to this crew. Like you wouldn't believe. Picking up a rough bolt. Rough? Rouge? Rogue? Takes me a minute. I get there. From a stack of nearby crates, Bash balances it between his fingers before crushing it in the palm of his bionic hand. His focus completely fixed on that one small action. They got wind of my talents, even sat in on a few fights until eventually they tried to recruit me into their clan. I heard of them before. I knew a few things that they did to win their battles, and I wanted nothing to do with it. But in their eyes, I had two options: join them or be put down as a threat. Bash shakes his head and blows out a heavy breath, his eyes glistening with memories long past. It was dark, late at night, and I'd just come out of a fight. Beat the guy to within an inch of his life. That's what I was like in the arena, Fucking psychopath and cocky as anything. I get jumped on my way out of the arena, half a dozen guys on me right in the middle of the street. Shit. I gave it my all, but they're prepared. I took a dagger to the eye and another to the chest. That one pierced my lung, and they told me afterwards. No wonder it hurt like hell. They crushed my bones on my arm so bad that they were turned into splinters. It was never going to heal right, so the best thing I could do was get rid of it completely. I still remember what it felt like when they were done with me. I was dying. I wanted to die. I had nothing to live for anyway. My chest tightens. I can only imagine how Bash felt in that moment, and even the mere thought is enough to tear me up inside. And then what happened? An angel saved me, found me beaten to a bloody pulp right in the middle of the street and refused to let me go. An archangel. All of a sudden, the pieces click into place, and I finally realize who Bash meant all along. Riona. That's right. Ryan and her group patched me up and found a safe place for me to recover. I even asked her on a date when I finally woke up. Thought I owed her that much. He chuckled at the memory, and my chest eases with a familiar sound. Her girlfriend wasn't having any of it, though. She sure put me in my place. You two seem like good friends. It sounds like you and Riona have been through a lot together. You must be good friends. Yeah, it's nice to have someone to think of as family when I never really had one. Luckily, I knew someone who could hook me up with new gear. Synthetic skin, too, to cover all the marks those bastards left behind. Some people keep their scars, a reminder of where they've come from, I suppose, but why would I keep the battle scars when I can have this perfection instead? He gestures to himself and I roll my eyes, earning a chuckle from him. What did I say? They did a good job. I turned my eyes over his body and noticed the absence of scars and marks, save for the calluses and burns on his remaining hand. A mark of his trade, I'm sure. Well, they did a commendable job. I knew you'd think so. I roll my eyes at him as he laughs, glad to find an easy banter between us that hasn't changed a bit. Have you decided what to do next, now that you know where you're from? I haven't decided anything, is what I meant to say, apart from the fact that if Zobak finds me alive, I'm done for. I'll be staying with the crew for the time being, is what I say instead. And Bash seems happy to hear it. It doesn't take long, however, for his face to fall. I know you never asked for my opinion, but I want to give it anyway. I've never had any love for our leaders. I've seen roaches who could run the planets, even the system, better than the clowns who've already had a crack at it. No offense. None taken. I've never had a voice. I've never had anything. But you could have a voice if you wanted it. You can make decisions that mattered and change everything. It's a noble idea that I could be the one to have such an impact on the world, but an idea nonetheless. But at the same time, I could understand if you didn't want to. I mean, what has the world ever done for you, huh? It'd be easy enough to disappear, start a new life somewhere, with someone new. Bash hangs his head in defeat, as though he wished he never spoke at all. When it comes down to it, I can't tell you what to do, but I don't know. It's not my choice to make. I appreciate your advice. Thank you for saying so anyway. I think I'll need all the advice I can get when it comes to what I'll do next. Well, you can always count on me for that. Though I can't tell if you need the advice. I can't tell you if the advice will be any good. Taking a couple of steps back, I give him a smile, feeling better than I have all day. I should let you get back to your work. Like you said, the sooner we can leave, the better. That's right. And the sooner I get the captain off my back, which is also a bonus. With a knowing smile, I head back towards the stairs and up towards the main level. Who have we not spoken to? What's his name? June? I think June and Ree talked to Rihanna. I think it's just June. Maybe it's not June. Maybe we spoke to June. I actually can't remember. Never mind. My mind is still racing when I leave the docks. Despite Bash being so refreshingly himself about everything, there have been others who haven't been so thrilled about my situation, and it's raised 1,000 red flags in my mind. The crew all have varying opinions on the matter, and while it's important for me to hear them all, they haven't been all what I've expected. And there's still one person I haven't had the chance to speak to, though the feeling that he's intentionally avoiding me grows stronger. Okay, yeah, it is June. Stronger with each minute that passes. June. I can't stop myself from wondering what he could possibly be going through his mind. And I need to find out for sure. I don't think I'll be able to get a moment's rest if I don't. I think at least 2 or 3 of the crew members have suggested me going back and being royalty, which is something, again, that has crossed my mind. I think because I'm seeing the stuff that's happening on the planets, it's making me more open-minded to, be a leader. That's kind of where I'm going for right now. Is getting the throne back if they let me. Trapezing through the corridors, I finally arrive outside what I believe is his room and knock a few times on the metal door. Hey, you thought you could escape me, bitch? Wrong. The echo of heavy footsteps on the other side pulls me out of my reverie. And when the door slides open, June pauses, his hesitation made clear at the sight of me. Bruh, he hates me. He hates us. He hates us. He doesn't want to be our friend anymore. He hates us. From the way he looks at me, I half expect him to turn and close the door, but instead he lets out a few mumbled words. Oh, you're here. I was looking for you. He doesn't reply straight away, instead schooling his expression into one of nothingness, one that doesn't suit the warm, kind man who saved me in the midst of tragedy in the least. Oh. A chill runs down my arms, and I hold them against myself protectively, almost afraid to even meet his eyes. June says nothing, does nothing, except look at me with mild distaste, and I can see now that I certainly haven't prepared myself for this in the least. I didn't want it to matter to him who I was. The way I see it, it's just another piece of my past that I've managed to piece together, nothing more. But I'm afraid that's not my decision to make. June has had my back from the get-go, and despite the target that hangs over me like a neon sign, I can only hope that it hasn't changed. Can we talk? Stealing my nerves as much as I possibly can, I take a deep breath and start talking. Can we talk, June? Sorry, Kay. I'm a bit tired. Maybe later. Please just excuse me, Your Highness. Your Highness is crazy. Dude, I'm not... let me pull out my gun. Let me pull out your gun, actually. My breath catches in my throat for a moment, and that word is all I can hear echoing in my mind over and over like the beat of a pounding drum. Your Highness. My eyes sting when he pulls away, and the air that settles on my skin is cold as ice. He barely even looked at me. He didn't even try. I blink dumbly at the hand that reaches out to close the door, but I can't let him go on like this. If he won't try, then I will. I can't choose my family or my title, and those things certainly don't change who I am. June, wait. My hand shoots to the door from before he can shut me out, and his brows raise in surprise. I don't know what the difference between confront and reason with him would be. Just confront him. So what's the big deal? You hate me now because of... Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean... Let's just go with it. Let's just go with it, and then if it sucks awfully, I will go back and do the other one. Because those were vague, and I'm not sure how I would have understood either of them. You hate me now just because of who I am, or do you just hate my family in general? Frustration boils inside me at his reaction, and his outright refusal to say anything at all. I can understand hatred for my family, but he wouldn't be the only one that feels that way. But I am not my father, and I certainly never shared his views on the world. Please, June, talk to me. He sighs in defeat, his shoulders slumping as though the weight of the world is crashing down on him. But when he looks at me next, his eyes flare in a way that almost terrifies me. I know you're not to blame. I never had any effect on the Pegasi as a whole. The complete disregard King Ferris had for the people of Siltoa, the way that he was more than willing to overlook anything as long as it was making him a pretty penny. The volume of his voice raises with each word, and he takes a moment to rein himself in, to pull back the leash that he holds so tightly on himself. And I never saw any member of your goddamn family lift a finger to change it. It's not true. My sister tried to change things, but was overruled every single time, though I don't dare voice this out loud. June's hands shake at his side, clenching into fists as his knuckles whiten by the second. Before I realize what I'm saying, my mouth is already open, and my voice is a hiss so low I'm not even sure he can hear me. Are you glad that they're dead, then? He falters at my question, and already I have my answer. His silence speaks louder than his words ever could. A wave of nausea hits me, knowing that if I were ever truly among the dead, he would have never batted an eyelid. He would never have known who I was, what my dreams were, and that one day, in another life, I might have called him my friend. He wouldn't have known any of it. I back away slowly, crushed by this knowledge, and it's only when he shoots out to grab my arm and stop me that I blink the tears from my eyes and dare to look at him. Stop, Kay. I didn't say a thing. You didn't have to. I pull my arm back. Okay, maybe let's do a different one. Okay, let's hold on. Let's be rational about this. Let's go. Hold on. Let me back the fuck up. Reason with him. Let's not be crazy. That was insane. I said, so you hate me and want me to die? I was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe that's a little bit severe of a reaction. Let's calm down. I don't know what's going on with you, but you can't blame me for the actions of my father. I'm not the same as him, June. You have to believe that. His jaw tightens when he sets his eyes on me, cold gray where they were once so warm. I need him to understand that I'm still me, that even though I know who I truly am, it changes nothing. I know that. It's just, please, June, talk to me. Okay, size and defeat. I think it's the same, actually. Yeah. Oh, it kind of did not. Oh, it didn't actually matter. Hey, what do you know? Okay, well then I'm keeping that severe reaction because that was our first one anyways. Options. Load. This one. Yeah. I pull my arm back from him and guilt flashes over his face, but only for a moment before the stony mask is set in place. I don't know the answer to your question. Violence is never the answer, and Zovak is certainly not a better choice for a ruler, but... He stops, takes a deep breath, and fixes me with a hard stare. I can't say I'm sad. Fenris is gone. I swallow around the lump in my throat, steeling myself against the blunt edge of his words. Bro, we said that earlier. I know my father wasn't fit to rule. I'm not an idiot. I ventured into this city enough times to know that what the people thought. I didn't say, but to be happy he's dead? Bro, I'd be happy. I'd be like, fuck yeah, my dad sucked. Maybe that makes me a bad person. I apologize. I let my voice echo off the metal walls, not caring for a single moment that my anger is getting the best of me. I was just making sure it was the same. June scoffs, a dark, deliberate sound, and a gesture catches me completely off guard. You think I care about Goldus? A dark growl from his voice rumbles through me, and it takes all I have to not let myself be unnerved by the raw fury I see behind his eyes. Goldus was paradise compared to what I had. I would have given anything to have lived there, even in the Bronze District, no matter how terrible Cal makes it out to be. I don't know how much Damon has told you of his home, or what you've heard, because nobody ever talks about Cursa. His nostrils flare wide, anger rolling off him in waves that make my mouth go dry. You know why? Because it was abandoned. The Council of Iron gave up on it because the Crown Council and the King deemed it worthless. They left it to be torn apart by the gangs and couldn't care less. You've seen Tyrannium, heading down the same road. Catalfa is gone, and Orion? His voice trembles at the mentions of Orion, and finally he pauses. When his eyes slice to mine, I could swear a flash of green streaks through them, but when I take a closer look, all I see is that unfathomable gray. Everything is just wrong with Orion. Everything. Let's talk about the mines for a second, shall we, Your Highness? How by royal decree, anyone who falls out of line, doesn't pay their taxes, just outright looks at some noble the wrong way, gets sent there. And you know what's worse? Nobody survives that place. June, No, you don't get to talk. Not until you listen. I recoil from the blunt anger, but I do as he says. Countless lives just lost to the mines. This substance, something powerful and dangerous that could never have been messed with, should have been messed with in the first place. And the labs. Do you have any idea what goes on in those labs? The things they do in the name of progress? I let him speak. He's on his tirade. Go off, girl, period. Let that out, bitch. Let it out, bitch. Hey. Sorry, I'm taking it seriously. I promise I'm actually taking it seriously. I say nothing, as it's the first time I've heard anything about the labs in Orion. I hear the mines were brutal. I couldn't possibly imagine anything worse. I should have known. Why didn't I know? Experiments, he spits out finally, his eyes dark and filled to the brim with remnants of an old pain. Suddenly I understand his anger a little better, though I dread to find out how he knows so much about these places. Human trials, okay. They strip their test subjects of all humanity, of any decency, and use them to create new weapons, new drugs, anything that will turn a profit for the crown. Anything. They say these labs are worse than the mines. Better to die with a sane mind than a poisoned lung, and a poisoned lung than to waste away with needles in your veins and your mind fractured. The scientists there have no limits to what they need to do to get what they want. They don't care about anyone other than themselves. All in the name of progress, my parents, my brother. June's voice falters at that, trembling fingers fiddling with the bracelet on his right wrist. His eyes glisten with unshed tears, as he's dragged into what I can only assume are his own memories. Terrifying memories. My chest aches at the picture he just painted for me. So much suffering. So much pain. This is horrible. I don't know what to say. I don't think there's anything I could say. Neither of us speak for a long while. The silence settling around us like dust. His parents. His brother. What could have happened to them? It doesn't look like June's ready to talk about that, but I can't help but wonder. I can't help but to give the weight that settles on my chest. Give in. To feel guilty for my family's role in this. As you fucking should, dude. For my father's. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kay. I know it's not your fault. I know you have nothing to do with that. I don't support Zovac in the least, but it's hard for me to separate you from the Pegasi I knew. June runs his hand over his face, struggling with some deep dark within himself. The pain that drips from his words is enough to have me paying attention, dreading the worst. It might be best for you to stay away from me, at least for now. I don't want to do anything I might regret. He backs up like a wounded animal forced into a corner. It's obvious he's still hurting from whatever happened to him on Orion. And while I want to know what it is, I can't say that now is the best time to find out. I'm sorry for whatever you've been through. Flirting right then would be hella inappropriate, just like, you know. I don't care if he is on that path. That I would still pick that option because no. I wonder what would happen, but no. We're not going to do that. Everything he's told me is messed up, but he's certainly not the only one who's suffering. I know it's not going to change anything, but for what it's worth, I am sorry. You know it's not your fault. You shouldn't apologize. Still, you were always kind to me, June. You deserve an apology. You deserve a whole lot more than that. And besides, my voice cracks, and it hits me just how hard it is to actually put my thoughts into words that come to my mouth next. It's not like any of the other Pegasi could apologize to you now. You know, now that they're dead. I'm sorry, Kay. We stare at each other for a while, our apologies hanging in the air around us. Wishful words trying to soothe a world of hurt neither of us seems to be willing to deal with right now. It's so pathetic, I let out a low chuckle, earning a small smile from June in return. He probably thinks I'm losing my mind, but really, how wrong is he? Hello, fellow mercenaries. Ayame's voice is blasting through the comm, snapping us out of our bubble. I come bearing a message from our dearest captain. She clears her throat exaggeratedly, and June rolls his eyes with a soft look in them. He's definitely used to her wild ways by now. Get your asses to the bridge, now. This is urgent. Oh, and he says pretty please, over and out. She turns off the comm, and I can hear Colden snapping at her in the background, and a smile hits my lips at the sound. At least some things never change. We should get going. Don't want to leave those two long enough for a fight to break out. Agreed. Sharing a smile, we set off to the bridge in a silence that's more awkward than I'd like to admit. Our conversation seems to have brought unpleasant thoughts for the both of us. Siblings. Nerissa. Hey, but on the positive, we got shit out in the air because June was already hiding his fifis, so that was pretty good.
Underground now. Too many eyes around. Far too dangerous for Oppo to stand out.
Oppo's voice is clear and familiar when we enter the bridge, and I look around to find the rest of the crew already gathered around the middle of the bridge. Cauldron and Damon, each on one side of what I assume to be Oppo. Oh, hey, holographic Oppo, what's up? The crew surrounds Oppo in holographic form, and June quickly leaves my side to join Riona and Cauldron on the other side of the room. It's good to hear you're safe, at least. I apologize for our presence here, if our presence here has hindered your operations. Thank you for reaching out.
No problem. No problems at all. The Amarath crew has good customers and friends. Oppo would never dream to jeopardize our relationship.
I still... Sorry. Still. I took out the group of guards that were on our trail. Have you seen any others?
No, not yet. But the commotion...
Damon rolls his eyes, giving Arknos a dry look. That was hardly a fight. He mumbles under his breath as he runs a clean cloth over his dagger, throwing Cauldron a grin when the other gives him a glare.
It was enough to draw attention, see? Oppo got a tip they were sending another ship to investigate, so Oppo hid somewhere safe until they leave again. And so should you, yes, especially with your new friend.
Cauldron frowns at the remark, but keeps his cool nonetheless. We can't just yet. We need a CD to get away safely, and we need your help to get it. Oppo's scared expression shifts slowly into one that they had tried to buy, or sell, buy me or sell the pieces of an outrageous amount for the crew. Before they or Cauldron have a chance to get... Oh, sorry. I'm loading. Hello? Before they or Cauldron have a chance to each say their piece, Damon already has his knife pointed right at the middle of Arknos' eye, and I'm assuming they can see it because of the shock in their face is real despite the hologram. Don't fuck with us, Oppo. You're hidden, but I know very well where you are, and I wouldn't mind taking a detour before we leave. Do I make myself clear? The captain gives us a short nod to his second command, apparently grateful for the intervention, keeping him from having to waste any more of his time. The Arknos swallows in vain, their forked tongue trembling slightly outside of their mouth. But Oppo ends up nodding in agreement eventually, to which Damon takes back his dagger and continues casually polishing it. Yeah, he's a pretty good second in command. He's like the beef. Because this guy looks like a dweeb. Him? Oh yeah, it looks like he could kill you. And he's hot. What? Plan. Not really.
There's no way of getting a CD here in Terrarium now. The next shipment isn't due until the next new moon.
That's a week from now. We don't have the luxury of being able to wait.
Yes, I know.
I can swear Oppo's eyes were fixed on me as they said that. And I wonder if all along they knew who I truly am. I wouldn't doubt that they did for a second.
Lucky for Avalanche Crew, I know where one is.
Avalanche? Why do we keep changing the name? I don't think it's Avalanche.
You need to go there yourselves, but the supplier will be expecting you.
Fine. Tell us where we need to go.
Cursa. Right next door, out of the way of the patrols that might come looking for you, it is.
Ruh-roh. I know someone's not happy about going to Cursa. You can guess who it is, too. Place your bets, buddy. The mood on the bridge shifts considerably at Oppo's words, and I find myself to be almost overwhelmed at the change. But McCary's stronghold, nonetheless. Cauldron looks bothered by the idea, as if it's something he'd rather avoid entirely. Jun and Riona next to him look equally concerned about the apparent next destination. On the other hand, Damon looks like he just spotted his prey he'd been hunting for eons, and is prepared to pounce. It's his home planet, and yet there isn't an inch of joy in his expression, only stark determination. Look at him. Fucking evil. Nasty ass. Aya and Bash next to him seem concerned, though more for Damon than about our destination.
I'll send the details of the contact and let her know that Oppo sent you, yes?
Her? I wonder. You better not. Thank you, Oppo. We'll stay in touch. The captain all but hangs up on the Arknos, turning to Bash and Ayame and giving his orders, sending Bash off to the engine room to make sure they're ready to go and telling Aya to set course. It would seem that he wants to leave as soon as possible to get this ordeal over and done with. Hey. The second in command approaches me, his steps light and precise, a twisted smile on his face. Oh, this'll be so much fun. Obviously, it's about time you earned your dues, but given your penchant for wandering on your own, I don't think we'll be able to let you roam around freely this time. So, I guess we'll have to babysit. He turns serious after the verbal jabbing at me. I mean, hey, he's not wrong. Pinning me to the spot with a cold, calculated stare. This isn't gonna be a fun ride. Don't think Terrarium was the worst that Selatoa had to offer. Don't let your guard down when we get there. But you said it'll be fun. A stupid remark, I realize. Perhaps the weight of it all is finally getting to me, and I'm losing it. Perhaps I just want to see how serious he is about Cursa being, well, cursed. For me, it will be. After all, I'm going home. Something about the way he says it makes me want to hole up in my room and stay there until we're done with Cursa, but I can't. I won't. I'll make myself useful, and this time I won't go off on my own. Yeah, good. Trust I wouldn't fucking be doing that shit. The captain's deep voice is amplified, echoing all around the room and the rest of the ship as he speaks to the comm device from the co-pilot seat. Everyone to your stations. We're heading to Cursa. Hey, we're done with another. We're done. We're done with another one. Another one. Okay. So that's where we're going to end this one. Remember that there are 8 chapters. So, actually say here. So we are halfway. This will be halfway through it when we're done with this one. Yippee. Well, I mean, not yippee, that's over, but it's pretty interesting story right now, and I have no fucking clue what's going on. I've got bits and pieces. I can take on the rain. I can take the rain on the roof of this empty house. I don't know what that is a reference to. Oh, anyways, I'm locked in. That's it for this video, though. I hope you had so much fun. Maybe as much fun as I've had, maybe even more. And I'll see you all, you guys, in the next video. Bye!